What's going on, everybody? Drew Hagenbaugh back here with another waiver wire video. This week we're going to talk about week 17 waiver wire ads. So let's not waste any single time. We're here to win you that championship game. Let's just straight jump into this. We're going to start off with our QBs first, like always, and our first QB we have is Carson Wentz. He is only 40% owned, but he is playing Las Vegas, and Carson Wentz so far this season has been unreal. He's been very, very good, especially as of late. Him and Jonathan Taylor have been decimating defenses these past couple weeks, and I see no difference here against Las Vegas. So if you can find Carson Wentz in any of your leagues, please go and pick him up. He could definitely be a very, very special ad for this week. And then the last one we have is Justin Fields. He is facing the New York Giants, and he's only 20% owned. Now, the reason why I have Justin Fields here, he did miss this past game due to injury, but I have a feeling he'll be back, and he'll be back as the main starter over Andy Dalton and over Nick Foles. If he is available, utilize his legs, pick him up. He is not a bad player. He can throw pretty well, and he can run very well. So let's go to running backs. Now, I wasn't in favor of this, but this guy could be a very good difference maker. Ogunbowale from Jacksonville. He is facing the New England Patriots, and he's under 1% owned. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, why would you want Jacksonville running back against New England? Well, Dare has been pretty solid when he has the opportunities. He's had 17 to 20 carries this past week, and he utilized them pretty well, and he also got in the end zone. So I like how he plays. I like his work ethic. I don't think Carlos Hyde is going to get the role. I think it's going to be Dare Ogunbowale. If he gets the touches, man, he could be very, very dangerous. Like I said, he's under 1% owned, so he's definitely out there if you need a flex running back. He's most likely a flex running back at this point. Number 2 is Boston Scott. He is facing the Washington football team. He's 13% owned, and Boston Scott's going to be the main role after Miles Sanders went back down with injury. It's probably likely he's done for the season now. So Boston Scott's most likely the lead back in that role. He did get in the end zone, and he's most likely going to get the bulk of the carries. So if Boston Scott is available, please go and get him. And then lastly, I have his counterpart, Jordan Howard, again facing Washington. He's about 8% owned, 10% owned. So if you can find Jordan Howard, if Boston Scott isn't available, please pick up Jordan Howard as well, because Jordan Howard may not get the carries, but he will get some carries. So either or, Jordan Howard or Boston Scott would work here. Go and get them. They played the Washington defense, and Washington's defense has been abysmal all season long. Let's transition into some wide receivers. First wide receiver I have is Isaiah McKenzie. He is facing the Atlanta Falcons. Now, McKenzie replaced Gabriel Davis and Cole Beasley, and he had an absolute crazy day this past week. He had over 100 receiving yards and got into the end zone. So Isaiah McKenzie could be very, very utilized and very useful. He's only under 1% owned, so he's definitely available in every single league out there. If you can get Isaiah McKenzie, he's playing against Atlanta, and if Cole Beasley's out again, and Gabriel Davis, who I believe is already presumably out, he could have another huge day ahead of him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he and Stephon Diggs had great days. So Isaiah McKenzie, under 1% owned, please go and pick him up. Number 2, we have Marquez Vales-Scantling. Now, he did miss the game against the Cleveland Browns, but he is playing the Minnesota Vikings, so he will get that role back. The number 2, Marquez Vales-Scantling, will be back. He'll be off the COVID list. Now, I know I mentioned him last week, but he did hop on the COVID list literally like 2 days after the video was made. But he is back for sure. He will pass the COVID protocols, and he will be the number 2 behind Davante Adams. He's only 50% owned, and he's playing against a weakened Minnesota secondary, so he should get a good amount of touches, and he should get a good amount of points for you for your championship weekend. And then lastly here, this is going to be a big surprise for a lot of people. It's Braxton Berrios from the New York Jets playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is 4% owned, but Braxton Berrios in the last 3 games has had double-digit points. He's had 11, 13, and then he had 17 this past week. He's the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver right now for Zach Wilson in New York. And although he's playing Tampa Bay, he can still put up some solid numbers. Way back in week 2 against New England, he put up almost 20 points against New England secondary. So Braxton Berrios could be very, very lethal here, and he could be very, very dangerous, and he could be very good for your squad. Only 4% owned, so he is definitely available, and he could help you win that championship trophy. Our tight end that we're going to talk about is Ricky Seals-Jones from Washington playing against Philly. Philly gives up the most points to all tight ends, and he's only 10% owned. So utilize that. Philly allows the most points to tight ends, and so Taylor Heineke will be back for this game, and he can find Ricky Seals-Jones quite a bit in this game. And I'm sure he will find Ricky Seals-Jones quite a bit in this game. So Ricky Seals-Jones could be a big deal for your championship matchup this week. And then lastly, we're going to talk about our defense. Our defense is going to be Seattle versus Detroit. Now, Seattle is 37% owned, and I like them obviously against Detroit because it's Detroit. You got to utilize those poor matchups. Seattle's defense isn't as bad as everyone thinks it is. Now, they're mediocre, middle-of-the-road defense, but they're not terrible. They still get the job done sometimes, and I'm sure they'll get the job done against Detroit, making them look like the mediocre team that they really are. So if you can, Seattle defense is a good, solid pickup here. And guys, with that being said, that's going to do it for Week 17 waivers. If you have any questions, please comment below. We will answer them. Go to our Instagram where I have my rankings. And if you have questions there, please, again, go ask some questions. We will help you there. Guys, leave a like on this video. It definitely helps us out a lot. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, that helps us so much. And with that being said, guys, I will see you next time.